Chorn Pond. Right now he's in Cambodia. He's online in Cambodia. He's an advocate for the healing and the transformative power of the arts, which you will hear. If you know your history, he was part of the Khmer Rouge, the killing fields, as a child. And he managed to get out, even though many of his family who were artists did not. He's a human rights activist and is now spending a lot of time reviving the traditional music of Cambodia. He is the reason, the source for Cambodia Living Arts. And again, there's another TED Talk out there that you will absolutely want to see. And might I remind you when you watch this one to bring a box of tissue with you, because in the end, if you're not weeping, you don't have any heart. So Arn, tell us what is going on the other side of the world, my friend.
We are like everyone else coping with the spread, the outbreak in the community of the COVID-19. I'm sorry to say it now, but we are also lucky to have the people who are infected or died death lower than my country in America.
Yes.
Like in our country there in America. So my heart is there too in America. I hope it gets better for us there too. Yeah. And thank you for having me here on the show.
Oh, thank you, my guy.
On the talk, not show, I don't know.
No, it may end up getting an academy. Can you share a little bit about your childhood and what you went through at the Khmer Rouge and so forth for those that aren't familiar with it?
I was a child. I mean, the Khmer Rouge took over in 1975, and I was about 12 years old. And I was taken into a Buddhist temple, converted into a killing place, day in and day out. They kill everybody. And we were not prisoners, but we were children forced to live there, to work there, and to die there. And in the middle of that, those killing, I remembered music. Really, I was forced into by the Khmer Rouge with the group of children during the killing all around us. Music, I should say, literally, physically saved my life. During those killings, during the Khmer Rouge reign, during the temple, that area, starting from 1975, they forced me to play their revolutionary song on a traditional Khmer instrument called the kim. It's like a hammer dulcimer. That's how I started it. And with the master, one master came and they forced him to teach a few boys those instruments, their revolutionary song, No Love Song. So the master, one of the masters said, the first master, I didn't even know his name, white-haired guy, and he knew. He said, you better learn fast. So a few weeks, they took him with few other boys who did not learn fast enough. Only 2 of us survived, and we knew that they ended up in the mango grove. So we know that why the teacher warned us about learning fast. And only 2 boys, I was a number 1. I learned faster than anyone else, and I didn't know why. I learned for my life, a revolutionary song. It was like very fast song, and the meaning, mostly the meaning of the song were like glorifying killing, blood, hating Americans. I didn't even know who American was, but were just in their name, and all hate in their lyrics. And then in the midst of that darkness, music helped me. Literally, when they have me sometimes to practice, I literally escaped the hell I was living in. The smell of the blood, the shits combines, and the screaming of the people outside. where the Khmer Rouge escorted, or they realized that the Khmer Rouge will take their liver away, the spleen away, the hit. You know, the Khmer Rouge usually hit people in the back of the axe, in the back of the head. So they were screaming all over every day. So I literally could not take it, but you know, anymore psychologically. So it helped me. Music helped me to escape into from the hell to another world. And you know, mentally, it helps me a lot too, from that bad dream and from the horrific punishment that I saw, what they have done all the year. And you know, it is like a psychology for me to play music. Helped me to feel the release of from these horrible things that I was witnessing.
So it was an escape, a way to be safe in your own mind, the music was.
Literally, I did not smell anymore blood at that moment.
Yeah.
When the sound of that instrument, it's like hitting the string. After a while, when you hit it, I can close my eye doing it. There were many string, and I couldn't even literally see the string because I was starving, half starved. So the children there, only 3 or 4 years, 700 of us were forced to live and die there. There were only 60 probably left that 3 years in that camp. We were not prisoners at all, but they were killed. Some were killed by the Khmer Rouge because they could not work anymore. They were weakened. I was giving more food, a little more food than others, because I was becoming their musicians. And then they brought the other masters, Master Mac, and we became really close. That Master Mac lied to them that I need more time. I didn't know that, and until later on I found out, and I lied to the Khmer Rouge that Master Mac, not yet. I cannot learn all of that yet, so I need him more time. So I knew they were after him, just like my first master. But this one, the second master, we became like father and son. You know, we became really close.
Is that how you got to America? What was that the link to get you to United States?
No, which one? But Master Mac, he was Cambodian. He was still in the camp, in Cambodia, in that temple. He was still there. But that 4 years came to an end with the Vietnamese invaded Cambodia and ousted the Khmer Rouge. So it was 1979, and then I was caught by the Khmer Rouge, like thousands of other children. The Khmer Rouge took my instruments away. They gave me guns, like thousands of other kids. I couldn't almost carry the guns into a battlefield. We have to figure out how to use the guns ourselves. When we were not taught how to use the guns. I was lucky also to survive there, a full-blown war with, and I escaped sometime into the jungles of Cambodia. We walked between where I live now to directed to the border of Thailand. It was about 300 miles, zigzagging for almost a year. I feel like forever. No shoes, and sometime I escape into the jungle by myself, following monkey for food, and then ended up in the Thai border. I was probably blown away by a typhoid or malaria or by landmines. I don't remember. Into the other side of the clearing of the jungle, and then I first time heard human being talk. They were talking in different language, and I never knew that they were Thailand or anything like that. I thought the world was flat. I was put into a camp where a refugee camp where I met a white man. They call him Americans. So for the first time, I heard the word American all along by the Khmer Rouge. They hate Americans. I didn't know why either. So I was scared to first encounter one American man, white-haired guy, he was just like Master Mac, my old master, but he looks different because he looked wider and with long nose. And there he was. He picked me up because I was about to drown in the rainy season, and among many kids, he stepped on me literally. My dad, Peter, he weighed like 300 pounds. I was about. They weigh me. I was about 30 pounds. I was skin and bones, and he picked me up, and there it was. Like every morning, he would come back to the camp and trying to feed me, and I saw him crying. And he keep pointing somewhere, I don't know, maybe trying to bring me to somewhere. So we could not talk. So that Peter became my adopted father later on. He brought me to America in the 1980s.
How long were you in America before you went back to Cambodia?
I was here in 1980. I arrived in New Hampshire in the fall of 1980. And the next day he took me to the mall, and the next week he took me to the high school. I never been to school before. I went to the temple. I lived in the temple before the Khmer Rouge for a year, so I was only 12 or 13. And there I was in high school and in 9th grade. And I felt strange, seeing the American kids on the hallway, and I was outnumbered. I feel I was outnumbered. I've never seen so many white kids before in my life, and I was, so, and they were starting to hit my head, because they didn't know in Cambodia you're not allowed to hit the head. Culturally, they said that the Buddha is here. Your parent lives in your head. Don't ever have anybody hit your head. So American kid was like, they play in the hallway. They come and laugh at me, and I was stunned. So, they were stunned. And I was also surprised standing in the hallway. They come right away. They hit my head and they start making fun of me and, calling me names. And I heard the word monkey, and they had no idea where I just came from. They've never seen an Asian before. There were no Black or Asian or any other races in that school, White Mountain Regional High School. It was only white kids. So they didn't know where I came from. Probably they thought I was from the sky or something. So I had a lot of trouble adjusting to the high school. We had a lot of fights. And I began to feel very depressed, and contemplating, and feeling suicidal. And I escaped the school. I broke the school windows. We had a lot of fights because there's something they shouldn't do it to me. In my country, I would shoot them. In Cambodia, I would have a guns and shoot. I was thinking about buying guns. But in New Hampshire, the closest store to your home is like 15 miles away. I ran away, and I was again into the jungle of New Hampshire. This time not in Cambodia. Peter knew that I probably will freeze to death if he doesn't do anything to tell the school what really happened to me and to Cambodia. And he's really, I've never seen him cry so hard when he looked at me one day. He said, "You must talk to this church, to this American children. They had no idea where you just came from. And you must talk to them." And I didn't speak the language, you see. So I knew what he meant, and I knew how serious he was. He told me, he said, I can hear a few words. I can understand a few words. He said, you survived the jungle of Cambodia, but you will not survive the jungle probably in New Hampshire in the USA. And I knew he meant it. Yeah. And he said, if you die here, we all going to die. I'm going to die because I'm your father. And we all a family now. And we're going to die together if you die. Wow. So I knew how serious it was. And word by word, I have to learn the language. And for the first time, I was willing to share with American kid and start playing. You know, easier now. I picked up the flute. You know, in America, so I started for the first time playing music. That helped a lot. Helped me a lot to release my stress, but also you know, it helps to American kids, like Evelyn said, you know, they really when they feel something, you know, the children are very pure and innocent. They felt it, and the story is second from you know, the story is just few words. I came from Cambodia and my family died, and you know, I asked for their understanding,
Right.
to accept me there, because I couldn't even learn how to go to the bathroom properly. You know, I was afraid of that the bathroom would suck me inside. You know, I don't know how to use the bathroom properly. You know, I would pee out of my windows, and my American mom went crazy. You know, and I can't eat hamburgers like them. You know, I need rice, but there were no rice around. And all of that, you know, it just tough for all of us, and I'd rather die.
Yeah.
Especially the understanding why they don't accept me. That's something I don't understand. But I think music and sharing the story helps so much. And when they start, these young people doesn't take much. And I thought they didn't care in the beginning. I told myself, I said they didn't care. They are having fun going out. They are always in the mall. They are always kissing. They don't care about. They don't care about where you came from and what happened to your life to Cambodia. They didn't even know where Cambodia is. That's what I was thinking. But I was wrong, really, when I began to start sharing my life and playing my music, especially playing my flute in my love song, a lullaby to them. You know, when the Titanic came out, the movie Titanic, they thought I was playing Irish flute, you know, but it was all right. But many of them cried when I play my flute. So something touched them deep.
Right.
Music, I began to understand when they connect music, you know, to some other music that they really hit it hard in their lives. They reach out to you. That's the first connection. I connect to those kids, and everything else. Peter was right that they somehow he knew that it was hard for me to do,
Right.
but I must, otherwise I die. I will die in America. So that's what I did in America.
It's interesting in both cases, the Khmer Rouge and in America, music saved you. Music was your answer.
I didn't think about it until you said it, and yes,
Yeah.
yes,
So,
once and twice,
yeah.
and it will be for probably a long time. You know, I mentioned to you before this that I'm now back to Cambodia, and I'm really happy now not to speak so much, but I play music for children now around the country in a remote area around the country where they've never heard live music before or touch any instruments in their lives. And so many adults also who now 50 years, they said, I never thought I could hear the music live before I died. You know, they remembered their weddings, they remembered their, you know, so how powerful the music is. I'm currently realize that I'm doing it. It helps me too.
Yes.
And why I wanted to do so much. Now I found out why my members of my family, my dad and my mom, loves what they did.
Yes.
There were no money at all. Yeah. Why? I wonder why they were killed because what they did. Yeah. And 90%. I found out in Cambodia when I returned. As soon as I returned, I found Master Mac, my teacher, my second teacher, survived after 23 years, and he recognized me right away. And he he said, Arn, you must start something, something for me to teach my skill. I don't want to die a drunk. You know, he was drunk on the street. Nobody knew them. A few masters survived the Khmer Rouge. They were a household name. Nobody knows them, and nothing they do. They were on the street drunk. And so that's why I had idea of starting something, an organization to pass down the art and our art and the culture to the next generation, and to find meanings in my master's life and my family's life. And then, you know, through music, I found out the whole thing about my family, why they love, how they met, you know, my mom and my dad, how they met, I never knew. So something in the past through music that helped me to figure out where I came from. And that's very important, you know.
Yeah, was that the impetus, the start of the Cambodian Living Arts program that you started?
Yeah, yes. I
Tell
found
us a little bit about that. Tell us about that.
I found few more masters, you know. I found a woman, also a woman. I remembered her name when before the Khmer Rouge, a squeaky voice on the radio. Every morning when I wake up for my ice cream in the morning, she would be on the radio. And then I heard word by mouth that she was still alive. And it took me a year after I came back from America 3 or 4 times now, and trying to find her in the capital. Finally, I found her on the dirt road, and she was most of them drunk, and something about alcohol. But the artists, they rather die drinking if they cannot teach. You know, they cannot find way to pass on or anything like that. That's what I found out. And I said, Master Mac and Master Jake Mike. She said, yes. How do you know my name? They were still disoriented. They didn't know that the Khmer Rouge era end. You know, they were afraid. They say, how do you know my name? So I said, you know, I heard your name on the radio, and you are like my idol. I told them, can you still sing? He said, yes, I still sing. So, you know, how much you want to give me? She asked for a can of beer before she sang, can of beer and a sandwich. She said it in English very clear, a sandwich. I brought her a sandwich and a beer. It was a really bad combination. And after she drank the beer, and she got so, you know, temperature high, fever. So I ended up taking her to the hospital. She was like a household name, and 3 or 4 more men who had played for the king and for the elite politician from other country in my country, you know, and they were still alive. When I met some of them and found out that 90% from you know, artists died during the Khmer Rouge, I must start something. So Cambodian Living Art, you know, matching these masters, it was an initial, a beginning, you know, a quick fix, you know, to try to take care of the masters and matching them with the student before some of them you know, starting to getting so sick and died, you know, one by one. They became like my family, my new family. You know, it's hard for me to witness that come back. Now we have like 20 years later. Now we have we have the whole new generation now learning traditional music, dance, you know, across the board. We have now. I couldn't keep track on it. We have now scholarship, fellowships. Now we have, you know, one of the scholarship, you know, a name after me, and the board did that, not me. So trying to honor me by having the scholarship on my name, and now we have children now express themselves. You know, Cambodian change now, and we have to change with that. You know. So young people said, we learn our tradition. Now we need to express ourselves. So we are encouraging them to learn how to create new work and innovating new works, so they can express themselves into to the world, in their own time. And now we have art in school for the first time. We help to, nationally, we help to train teachers now and all that. So Cambodian Living Arts now, it's pretty big organization now, helping, using music to connect and to, find out the past, to connect young people now to the past like I did, and the power of the art that we are using to heal myself, to heal the young people, and to find out our history, our own culture, to be proud of who we are. Very important. Like the young people I told you I work with in Lowell, Massachusetts, the gang members in Lowell, where the second largest Cambodian refugee resettle, after Long Beach, California. Those, identity crisis of those young Cambodian, young Asian, young Haitian, young Black who, like caught in the middle, they don't know who they are, like identity crisis, like I felt earlier year in America. I was making fun of on the top of that and chased out of being, go back where you belong, all of that. And I asked myself, who am I? Who am I belong to? Where am I belong to? So those are kind of questions that young people all around the world are still confused and were forced to be in army, you name it. Many girls are forced into different, victims of war and all that, prostitution, and very confusion kind of world. Not only Cambodian, I'm saying it now, I'm beyond Cambodia now. So the arts can help us, can mold us, together, and build confidence in us before anything else, before we can go for the future. Yes. So what Evelyn was saying, we need to help supporting the teachers that are still alive everywhere around the world, and their sweat, and they make very little money. And, even the Khmer Rouge know how important the worst group that kill, the worst genocide in the world. They know they know how important, how powerful the arts, the music was. That was why they forced me as a child to brainwash me and to use music to brainwash other people. Even the Khmer Rouge know how powerful music were, and they kill many of the masters. Because people listen to music, they don't judge, they come together. Music bring people together, not killing them, not like the bomb. The bomb disembowel people, explode people, and people run away. But music bring people to come together and make them understand each other, and smile and dance. And eventually they learn about each other, and they learn how to connect in the human levels. That I think is powerful.
Absolutely. Arn, your story is compelling. Your story is brings so many emotions, and both you and Evelyn, magnificent. It still comes back to the music can bring the world together. Music can make us civil. Music can make us human. Music can touch our hearts and our souls. And what you're doing in Cambodia is phenomenal. We need to spread it all the way around the world. So thank you so much.
Please come and visit us.
Yeah, I'll come and visit.
Evelyn, come and visit us too in Cambodia. We will dance, we will sing for you, and the new generation are doing their own works now. And we are ready to show you, anybody, we're ready to smile and hug you, not through the arts, yes, please come and visit us.
We'll get Brett, and we'll have quite a quartet together. It'll be fun.